Welcome to Kindness in Real Life. Meet George, a millionaire dad whose world of wealth and success hides a buried secret. When his son Eden bursts home claiming he's found his twin, Mike, at school, George brushes it off, but a class photo reveals an uncanny truth. As his wife Sarah digs deeper, a shocking discovery about Eden's birth unravels, challenging everything George thought he knew about family. This is a tale of hidden pasts and unbreakable bonds. Join our Kindness in Real Life family, drop a comment, and step into a story that will stir your soul. Sunlight streamed through the windows of the Elliott family's new home, a modest but elegant house nestled in a prosperous American town. The freshly painted walls glowed with warmth, a canvas for their fresh start. After years in the city, George Elliott, 42, stood in the living room, lean build framed by a pressed suit, light skin catching the morning light. His short, dark hair was neatly combed, but his hazel eyes, etched with grief, stared distractedly at a stack of financial reports on the coffee table. A tech mogul with mansions and millions, George carried a quiet sorrow since his stillbirth 10 years ago, a loss he'd shielded his wife Sarah from, though it lingered in his tense shoulders. Sarah, 40, hummed softly as she folded laundry, her slender frame moving with purpose, fair skin glowing under the sun. Her auburn hair was tied loosely, and her green eyes sparkled with contentment, glancing around their new home with a smile. She wore a simple blouse and jeans, her face calm, focused on making this house a haven for their son Eden. The front door burst open, shattering the quiet. Eden 10 rushed in, slight build, bouncing with energy, pale skin flushed with excitement. His messy brown hair fell over bright green eyes, dimpled smile wide, as he clutched a backpack dressed in a rumpled school uniform. "Dad, Dad," he shouted, eyes wide, looking up at George with uncontainable thrill. George set down his reports, brow furrowing, hazel eyes, meeting Eden's with wary curiosity. "What's got you so worked up, champ?" he asked, voice warm but cautious. Sarah paused, a shirt half folded, her smile indulgent as she turned to Eden. "Yeah, sweetie, what's the news?" Eden's words tumbled out in a rush. Backpack sliding to the floor. "I met a boy at school, Mike, and he looks just like me. We're twins." "I swear." His green eyes sparkled, hands gesturing wildly, face alight with conviction. George chuckled, but the sound was strained, his light skin paling slightly. "Twins, huh? Come on, Eden. You probably just found a kid who looks a bit like you." His hazel eyes darted to Sarah, then back to Eden, a flicker of unease crossing his face. Sarah laughed softly, kneeling to Eden's level, her green eyes gentle. "Sweetie, lots of people look similar. It's exciting, but you're our special boy. There's only one of you." She smoothed his hair, her blouse creasing as she leaned in, face warm with affection. Eden's dimpled smile faded, his pale skin flushing with frustration. "No, Dad. Mom, you don't get it, Mike. Has my eyes, same green, same shape. His nose, his hair, even his voice. It's like looking in a mirror." His green eyes locked on George, pleading, then shifted to Sarah, searching for belief. George's hands tightened on his reports, knuckles whitening his suit jacket, shifting as he stood. "Eden, that's enough," he said, voice sharper than intended, hazel eyes avoiding his son's. "Kids look alike sometimes. It's no big deal." Sarah's brow creased her fair skin, catching a shadow as she stood, green eyes flickering to George with curiosity. His tone wasn't the playful dismissal she'd expected. It was tense, almost nervous. "George. He's just excited," she said softly, her blouse fluttering as she moved closer, face puzzled. Eden's shoulders slumped, his uniform rumpled further as he stepped back, green eyes dimming. "You don't believe me," he mumbled, looking at the floor, disappointment etching his young face. George forced a smile, but his hazel eyes stayed guarded, glancing at Sarah as if gauging her reaction. "We believe you met a look-alike champ. It's cool, but let's not get carried away with movie stuff like secret twins." He ruffled Eden's hair, but the gesture felt mechanical, his light skin betraying a faint flush. Sarah's heart ached at Eden's dejection, her green eyes softening as she knelt again. "I'm sure Mike's a great kid, sweetie. I can't wait to meet him." Her voice was warm, but her gaze lingered on George, seed of doubt sprouting. Eden nodded, face still downcast, and trudged toward his room. Backpack dragging green eyes fixed on the carpet. Sarah watched him go, her fair skin creasing with a frown. She turned to George, folding another shirt, her hands moving mechanically. "He's really convinced about this boy," she said, voice low, green eyes searching his face. George shrugged, hazel eyes flicking to his reports, avoiding her. "Kids and their imaginations," he muttered, light skin betraying a slight sheen of sweat. "He'll get over it." The evening brought the aroma of roasted chicken to the dining room, the table set with care. Sarah, now in a soft sweater, passed a bowl of mashed potatoes, her fair skin glowing under the chandelier, green eyes glancing at George. He sat at the head tie, loosened sleeves, rolled up his lean build, slouched slightly light skin, pale hazel eyes focused on his plate. Eden bounced in his seat, uniform swapped for a t-shirt, pale skin bright with renewed excitement, green eyes sparkling as he turned to George. "Dad, you gotta hear more about Mike. Our voices are so alike. It's freaky." George's fork paused, his hazel eyes narrowing, face tightening. "Eden, we talked about this," he said, voice low, strained. "You're not twins. Your mom and I would know." His light skin paled further, hands trembling slightly as he cut his chicken. Sarah's green eyes widened, catching the shake in his fingers, her fair skin flushing with unease. She'd expected a laugh, a joke about Eden's wild ideas, but George's reaction was wrong, too sharp, too nervous. "George, what's wrong?" she asked, voice soft but probing. Her sweater shifting as she leaned forward. "Nothing's wrong," George snapped, hazel eyes flashing before softening his face, forcing calm. "It's just not possible. Okay, let's drop it." Eden's green eyes dimmed again, his pale skin losing its glow, dimpled smile, gone. "You don't believe me either," he whispered, looking at his plate, disappointment heavy. Sarah reached for his hand, her fair skin warm against his green eyes, gentle. "We believe you found a friend who looks like you, sweetie. That's special." But her gaze flicked to George, doubt growing like a shadow. Dinner passed in strained silence, Sarah's green eyes darting to George, noting his tense shoulders, the way his hazel eyes avoided hers. She cleared the table, her sweater brushing the counter, mind racing. George had always been steady, her rock through their move, their loss years ago. But this nervousness, this edge was new. What was he hiding? As she loaded the dishwasher, her fair skin flushed with questions, Eden's insistence, George's reaction, it didn't add up. Later, as Sarah tucked Eden into bed, his green eyes looked up, earnest, from his pale face, t-shirt wrinkled. "Dad'll believe me when he sees Mike, right?" he asked, voice small. Sarah smoothed his brown hair, her green eyes soft, face warm. "We'll figure it out, sweetie. Sleep tight." She kissed his forehead, but as she closed his door, her fair skin creased with worry. George's unease, his quick dismissal, it gnawed at her, a puzzle missing pieces. In their bedroom, George sat on the bed, suit jacket off light skin, pale hazel eyes distant. Sarah paused, her sweater loose, green eyes searching his face. "George, why'd you get so upset at dinner?" she asked, voice tentative. He looked up, hazel eyes guarded, face tight. "I wasn't upset." Sarah, "Just tired, it's been a long day." His voice was flat, but his hands fidgeted, betraying him. Sarah nodded, her fair skin, hiding her doubt, but as she turned off the light, her mind swirled. George was hiding something, and Eden's twin was the key. What secret is George guarding, and will Eden's photo reveal a truth that shatters their family? Like this video, join us as the mystery unfolds. Morning sunlight bathed Maple Grove Elementary, its red brick walls alive with the hum of children in the wealthy American town. Eden stood by the playground, pale skin flushed under a rumpled school uniform, brown hair messy over green eyes. His dimpled smile shone with determination, gaze scanning the crowd for Mike, face bright with purpose. Today was class photo day, their chance to prove they were twins. Mike waved from the swings, pale skin. Glowing hair, tousled like Eden's uniform, crisp. His green eyes sparkled, dimpled smile eager as he jogged over, looking at Eden with shared excitement. "Ready?" Eden asked, green eyes gleaming, face set with resolve. Mike nodded, pale skin catching the light uniform, neat green eyes mirroring Eden's fire. "Let's make them see," he said, dimpled smile, fierce, gaze locked on Eden in a silent vow. Their plan was clear, stand together in the photo. Proof their parents couldn't deny. Eden's uniform creased as he clapped Mike's shoulder. Their smiles a matched beacon of hope. At the Elliott home, Sarah moved through the kitchen, fair skin, pale in a loose sweater, auburn hair falling over green eyes clouded with unease. Her face was tense, replaying George's shaky hands at dinner. His quick dismissal of Eden's twin, George usually composed in tailored suits, had faltered. His light skin, paling hazel eyes, dodging hers. Something was off, and Sarah's doubt grew like a shadow. She glanced at the clock, green eyes narrowing as George grabbed his briefcase suit. Sharp, dark hair, neat face, tight with distraction. Hazel eyes avoiding her. "Early meeting?" Sarah asked, voice probing fair skin, flushing as she watched him sweat her, brushing the counter. George nodded, light skin, paling hazel eyes, fixed on the door. "Yeah, swamped today," he muttered, face closed, suit shifting as he hurried out. Sarah's green eyes hardened, suspicion flaring. His rush wasn't just work, it was evasion. She set down her coffee sweater, clinging resolve to find answers. At school, Eden and Mike lingered near their classroom, uniforms wrinkled from restless energy, pale skin bright with nerves. Their teacher, Miss Johnson, called for photo lineup, and Eden stepped forward, green eyes, earnest, dimpled smile, polite. "Can Mike and I stand together?" he asked, looking up at her. Mike's green eyes echoed Eden's, his dimpled smile, hopeful, uniform, pristine. Miss Johnson nodded, her face warm. "Sure, boys," she said, and they exchanged a quick grin, pale skin, flushed green eyes, triumphant. The photographer, sporting a bushy mustache, squinted through his lens, pausing at Eden and Mike side by side, their brown hair, green eyes, and dimpled smiles. Identical. "Well now," he chuckled, face amused, shaking his head. Eden and Mike stood close, uniforms aligned, pale skin catching the camera's flash. Green eyes bright with anticipation, dimpled smiles, bold smile, big. The photographer called and the shutter snapped, freezing their mirrored faces. Eden's gaze flicked to Mike's, both boys stifling laughter, faces glowing with victory. Back home, Sarah sat at the dining table, sweater loose, fair skin creased with worry, green eyes staring at her phone. Eden's talk of Mike George's nervous edge, it stirred hazy memories of her delivery, the fog of unconsciousness, George's assurances. She dialed the school voice, steady despite her pounding heart. "This is Sarah Elliott, Eden's mom. Can I speak to Miss Johnson?" After a brief hold, Miss Johnson answered, curious. Sarah's green eyes fixed on Eden's school photo face, taut. Eden's mentioned a boy, Mike, who looks like him. "Could I get his mother's contact?" Miss Johnson agreed, noting the boy's uncanny resemblance. Sarah scribbled, Clara Parker's number, fair skin warming with resolve, green eyes sharp. She dialed Clara, sweater shifting as she paced, green eyes flickering with nerves. "Hello?" a woman answered, voice cautious but kind. "Hi, Clara. I'm Sarah Elliott, Eden's mom. Our boys are in the same class, and their class photo today. It's striking how alike they look." Clara's tone softened, surprised. "Mike showed me. It's unreal." Sarah's green eyes widened, fair skin flushing with relief at Clara's candor. "Can we meet? I feel like there's something more here." Clara paused, then agreed, voice curious. "The Cozy Cup on Main Street tomorrow at 3. Sarah's face set, green eyes determined. "I'll be there." She hung up, gaze drifting to the door, wondering if George would approve or crumble under the truth. At school, recess pulsed with energy, but Eden and Mike huddled by the fence, pale skin, bright uniforms, creased green eyes wide as they opened their photo envelopes. The glossy print showed them side by side, brown hair, green eyes, dimpled smiles, twins in every detail. Eden's face lit up, green eyes, sparkling, dimpled smile, wide as he looked at Mike. "They can't ignore this," he whispered, voice trembling with awe. Mike's green eyes glistened, dimpled smile, soft face, hopeful. "Pinky swear we show them tonight," he said, their fingers linking pale skin, brushing faces resolute. Eden walked home, backpack, swinging pale skin, glowing green eyes, fixed on the photo tucked inside. His uniform was rumpled, but his dimpled smile was radiant. Face brimming with excitement, he burst through the front door shouting, "Mom, I've got something." Sarah emerged from the kitchen, sweater loose, fair skin, pale, green eyes, startled face, curious as she dried her hands. "What's that, sweetie?" she asked, voice gentle, gaze softening. Eden thrust the photo forward, green eyes blazing, pale skin, flushed, dimpled smile, triumphant. "Me and Mike, we're twins. See?" Sarah took the photo, fair skin, paling green eyes widening as she studied it. Eden and Mike stood together, identical brown hair, green eyes, dimpled smiles like a single boy doubled. Her hand shook sweater, brushing the table as she sat face stunned. My goodness, she breathed, green eyes darting to Eden, then back to the photo. Heart racing, I told you. Mom? Eden bounced uniform, shifting green eyes, pleading, dimpled smile, earnest. Sarah nodded, fair skin, creasing green eyes clouded with shock. You're right, sweetie. This is something. Her voice faltered, mind flashing to George's pale face, his abrupt dismissal. She looked at Eden, face softening, green eyes warm. I'm meeting Mike's mom tomorrow. We'll get answers. Okay. Eden's dimpled smile widened, pale skin, bright green eyes trusting, as he hugged her face, pressed into her sweater. As Eden darted to his room, Sarah gripped the photo, fair skin, flushed green eyes, hard with resolve. George's evasiveness, his lie about work, it screamed of a secret. The photo was evidence, and Clara's meeting could unlock the truth, her heart thudded, sweater clinging as she stood face fierce. Whatever George was hiding, she'd find it for Eden, for their family. Twilight bathed Clara's cozy home in a warm glow, its porch lanterns flickering against the spring air of the prosperous American town. Sarah and George stepped from their car, Sarah's fair skin soft in a flowing dress, auburn hair, loose, green eyes, nervous, but hopeful face set with quiet resolve. George, light skin, pale in a casual sweater, dark hair, neat, hazel eyes, cautious. Glanced at her, his face strained with regret. Eden bounded ahead, pale skin, bright in a t-shirt, brown hair, tousled green eyes, sparkling, dimpled smile, wide as he spotted Mike on the porch, waving with a matching grin. Inside, Clara greeted them, her warm skin glowing under a soft cardigan, curly brown hair, framing kind eyes, face welcoming. Come in, she called, gaze softening as Eden and Mike high-fived their pale skin, flushed green eyes, bright, dimpled smiles, identical in school uniforms. The aroma of rosemary chicken filled the air, a favorite of both boys, and Sarah's green eyes warmed her dress, brushing the table as she set down a casserole, face struck by their shared tastes. George's hazel eyes flickered, his sweater loose, face hesitant as he lingered near the door, light skin betraying unease. The living room buzzed with the boys' chatter, Eden and Mike comparing Pokemon cards, their heads close, green eyes dancing, dimpled smiles infectious. Sarah's fair skin glowed green eyes, misty as she watched face soft with awe at their bond. Clara's kind eyes met hers, cardigan shifting as she leaned in, face gentle. They're like brothers already, she whispered, and Sarah nodded, dress swaying, green eyes glistening her face, a mix of joy and lingering pain from George's secret. Days ago, Sarah had confronted George, the class photo of Eden and Mike, identical in brown hair, green eyes, dimpled smiles, forcing the truth. She'd met Clara at the Cozy Cup Fair, skin pale, green eyes wide, as Clara revealed Mike's adoption. A DNA test, done in secret, confirmed the boys were twins, and Sarah's world had shattered. George, caught in his lie, admitted their biological child was stillborn, and he'd adopted Eden, one of twin boys, to spare her grief. Paying the adoption center to bury the truth, his light skin had paled, hazel eyes, teary, face broken as he confessed, sweater clinging in their tense living room. Now at Clara's, Sarah's green eyes flickered to George, her dress soft against her fair skin, face forgiving but guarded. He'd hurt her, but his love for Eden, his fear of her pain, had driven his silence. She'd spent nights wrestling with betrayal, her fair skin flushed and the dark green eyes staring at Eden's sleeping form. His pale skin, peaceful, dimpled smile, faint. Her love for him hadn't wavered. He was her son, biology. Be damned. She'd forgiven George, but trust would take time. Their path forward, fragile but hopeful. Dinner unfolded with ease, the boys' laughter filling the room, their pale skin, bright green eyes twinkling as they finished each other's stories. Uniforms creased from play. Sarah's fair skin, warmed green eyes, soft, face relaxed as she swapped stories with Clara, their cardigan and dress, a contrast to their shared warmth. George, initially quiet, his light skin tense, hazel eyes cautious, began to open up, sharing a tale of Eden's toddler mischief, his face easing, sweater shifting as he chuckled. The boys giggled, dimpled smiles, wide green eyes, on George with delight. As the meal ended, Eden turned to Mike, green eyes mischievous, dimpled smiles sly. Want to try my remote control car? I brought it. Mike's green eyes lit up, pale skin, flushed uniform, rumpled face, eager. Yeah, in the backyard, Clara nodded, cardigan swaying, kind eyes warm. Just mind the flowers, she said, and the boys raced off, their laughter echoing, pale skin glowing under the patio lights, green eyes bright with joy. The adults moved outside, watching Eden and Mike steer the car through a stick-and-rock obstacle course. Their dimpled smiles mirrored, green eyes locked in sync. Sarah's fair skin softened, green eyes, misty dress, fluttering as she leaned into George, her face peaceful. They're a gift, she whispered, gaze on the boys. George's hazel eyes softened, light skin, calm face, tender as he squeezed her hand, sweater brushing her arm. I'm sorry, Sarah, he murmured, looking at her with raw honesty. Clara's kind eyes glistened, cardigan loose face gentle as she watched the boys. Mike's never been this happy, she said, gaze shifting to Sarah and George. You've given him a brother? Sarah's green eyes met Clara's fair skin, warm face grateful. And you've given us family, she replied, dress swaying. Her gaze steady, George nodded, hazel eyes clear. Light skin, relaxed, face resolute. We'll make this work together, he said, looking at Clara, then Sarah, his sweater, a symbol of his softened guard. Weeks later, the families grew closer, playdates weaving Eden and Mike's lives, their pale skin, bright green eyes, twinkling, dimpled smiles, constant. Sarah and Clara planned outings, their fair and warm skins side by side, dresses and cardigans, a testament to their bond. George, his light skin, steady hazel eyes open, joined in his sweater, a fixture at barbecues. Face lighter with each laugh, the adoption center's shadow faded. Sarah's green eyes fierce as she ensured no secrets remained, her fair skin glowing with purpose. One evening at Clara's, Eden and Mike raced their car under starlight, pale skin, aglow green eyes, bright, dimpled smiles, wide uniforms swapped for t-shirts. Sarah watched fair skin, radiant green eyes, soft dress, catching the breeze, face serene. George stood beside her. Light skin, calm hazel eyes, warm sweater loose. Looking at her with love. The boys' laughter, their mirrored faces healed wounds. Sarah hadn't named her heart full of a family reborn. George's journey unveils the power of truth and love, stitching together a family torn by secrets. A millionaire dad, he hid Eden's adoption to shield Sarah from loss, but Eden's discovery of his twin. Mike forced the past into light. Their identical green eyes and dimpled smiles captured in a photo sparked Sarah's search, revealing a truth George feared would break them. Yet love, fierce, unwavering, proved stronger. Sarah's forgiveness, Clara's warmth, and the boys' bond wove a new family, showing that biology doesn't define parenthood. Eden and Mike, pale skin, glowing under starlight, remind us that truth, though painful, can heal when met with courage. George's regret, Sarah's resolve, and Clara's openness challenge us to face our secrets, to choose love over fear. In a world quick to hide pain, this story calls us to embrace honesty, to build families not just by blood but by heart. What truth have you faced that reshaped your life? How has love rebuilt what secrets broke? Share your story below. Let's celebrate the bonds that make us whole. Drop a comment with your thoughts and join kindness in real life to uncover more tales of truth and healing.